सोच में सकारात्मकता लाएं, जीवन को बेहतर बनाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। मनोदर्पण के काउंसलर से परामर्श पाने के लिए डायल करें टोल फ्री नंबर 844-844-0632। नंबर एक बार फिर सुने 844-844-0632।
Namaskar, I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session Sahyog. Sahyog sessions are held under the beautiful initiative of Ministry of Education as a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan for providing psychosocial support to parents, teachers and students across the country. Today, we are bringing you Sahyog with a very special topic, and that is development of reading culture among secondary school students. Well, I remember when I used to read, of course, I was told that books are your best friends, and if you want to improve your language, your vocabulary, reading is a must. Yes. So these days we are reading, but it is a different kind of reading. Today we are more into digital space, and at times it is not really healthy for us because screen time has considerably increased otherwise also. But why is it important actually to read, and what all changes it brings in you? That we will discuss in this session today, and there's so many other aspects of it as well that will be unfold in today's session. So you are watching this session live on our PM eVidya channels 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube channel ncertofficial. If you wish to participate in the session, and if you have questions, you can always get in touch with us. We have two phone numbers for you. First of all, we have PM eVidya number, which is 8800440559. We also have for you MANODARPAN National Tele Helpline number, that is 844-844-0632. Now on this number you can speak to our counselor and you can get your doubts cleared, any problem that you must be having, anything that is disturbing you mentally, you can definitely discuss the same with the counselor here. You can also write an email to us, and the email ID is sahyog.ncert@cit.nic.in. It's flashing on your screen. Last but not the least, you can always get in touch with us through our YouTube handle NCERT Official's live chat box. You can put in your questions there, your suggestions, any particular topic that you want the discussion on, just let us know. And for today's topic, for today's discussion, we have invited two experts. They have joined us online, so let's welcome both of them. We are joined by Dr. Harim Qudsi. Ma'am is a practicing counselor. Ma'am, namaskar and welcome to the session.
Namaskar, thank you.
Thank you so much. We are also joined by Dr. Debabrata Bagui. Sir is assistant professor from RIE NCERT Bhubaneswar. Sir, namaskar and welcome to the session.
Namaskar.
Right. Now, we all know that reading is extremely important. In fact, we have seen there's so many reading clubs as well, and there are people who are fond of reading different kind of stuff. Now, sir, I want to begin with you, and I want to ask you the first question: that what exactly do we mean by this reading culture? When we say reading culture, what are we referring to?
So, in this context, when we especially talk about the term reading culture or reading habit, there are some points that come to our mind. First, of course, the question that you have raised, what is reading? Next, how is reading habit calculated? And why is this habit so important in early childhood, especially when we talk about the school children? Now, reading, it's a habit that involves books or printed articles and electronic materials. And electronic materials that you have just now talked about. And now it is also to be noted that it varies differently, that how each material can affect the reading habits. Because books are there, so printed articles are there. Nowadays, e-books are also there. Electronic materials are also there. Now, the point is that why it is so important.
Yes.
Now, it is observed that kids that cannot read, they cannot learn.
Yeah.
So reading is the basis of learning everything. Learning geography, history, even maths problem require good reading skills. So basic mathematics, practical arithmetic, and day-to-day arithmetic, or language that is required, that help, that that enhanced a lot through reading. And kids who cannot read according to their level, by the time they are in the third grade, they are often, sometimes what happens in some cases, or in previous days, previous decades, they were often found drop out of their school altogether.
Okay.
The point is that reading makes you smarter. You will know a lot. Reading helps enhance the learning process. So each page opens up a new world. New words enhance an ever increasing vocabulary. That rightly you have pointed out, vocabulary.
Yeah,
Even children's confidence gets a boost.
absolutely.
That is why we require more people, children especially, school going children, or I mean wherever they are, these students, children, they who are learning to read right from their childhood and developing reading skills, they to build a more literate India. Now there are lots of researches have taken place, and researches into reading often talks about how it enriches minds, imparts wisdom, even helps shape readers' personalities to a certain extent.
That's right. True.
A good reading ability and a regular reading habit makes you better placed to be a leader in whatever position you are.
Absolutely, yes, because it opens a whole new world in front of you. You understand different point of views. It widens your horizon, and of course, it helps you understand the things in more meaningful manner. You're no more
Exactly.
restricted to a neutral. You understand the world. You understand different cultures where people are coming from. Basically, it makes you more accepting of people and the situations. But sir, do you think that nowadays students are reading sufficiently in terms of quantity and quality?
You see, nowadays, is a reading for pleasure. It's a habit on the decline that you rightly mentioned when you talked about, I think, smartphone or tabs and the different electronic devices. Now, reading for pleasure, that students used to enjoy
Yeah.
maybe in the last decade, or one decade back, or 2 decades back, that is a habit on the decline. Children at present do not see their parents reading, and thus they too stay away from books. They observe.
Yeah.
What do they observe? Their parents are doing. Their parents are busy with these electronic gadgets.
Yes.
And next, I should say, this actually it was observed by several teachers or people that I mean, as far as this observation of parents, what do the parents do? That is to some extent followed, to a large extent it is followed by the children. So in this context, an example of Mahatma Gandhi is worthwhile to be remembered. When he read a book of Satyavadi Harishchandra, it revolutionized in extremely his lifestyle. Gandhiji learnt a lesson of speaking the truth, which ultimately became the fundamental principle in his life
Yes.
to be propagated for integrity. And we know how it helped for for his leadership, for national unity amongst the people of our country. And he used this as a a weapon of satyagraha to fight peacefully fights against the Britishers. So such is the power of speaking the truth. And practically, when it came this non-violence, etc., and when he, not only that non-violence was used not only to driven out Britishers from India, but also he preached this very principle of non-violence, not to kill any human beings or speechless birds or animals
Yes.
who do more good than humans for the maintenance of ecosystem of the environment. Now, you see, therefore, what happens? Reading of books is very much essential. It is for creating a variety of creativities, variety of, so to provide an awareness of various activities, for making a healthy atmosphere for literate people of the modern society. So it definitely helps to develop an intellectual activity, and it helps in developing mind and personality of a reader. Whoever wants to be a thinker, whatever you if you want to be a writer, if you want to be an officer, if you want to be a doctor, after all, you have to be a thinker. Now, this reading habit transforms one's lazy and indolent attitudes
Yeah.
into good behavior. even as one habits are totally altered reading good books. So the character of a reader of good books automatically changes into the traits of truth, honesty, etc. And this can be shown even to others. I mean, it can be shown kindness to blind, the poor, the handicapped, to everyone. Now, what happened? The decline of daily reading habits among children. These are being noted nowadays. Now, teachers agree nowadays that unless children see adults around them reading, they would not do so themselves. So there is technology distractions. This is this ubiquitous presence of technologies everywhere. Smartphones, tablets, laptops offers a plethora of entertainment options from social media to video games, making it challenging for students to focus on a book. So this is perhaps the reason that why when there are so many other avenues, other ways for passing time and so on and so forth. So
Absolutely.
maybe it is one of the reasons that why there is a tendency, a declining tendency is found as far as reading books are concerned among school going children.
You're right, because there's so many distractions these days. Earlier, we used to have a library, dedicated library period, and we used to get the books issued, and there were a lot of variety of books, right from Panchatantra to these fairy tales and these beautiful short stories by Western authors. I particularly like Sherlock Holmes a lot, so I've read many volumes of the same, and I developed this habit right from my childhood. Because there used to be an excitement that I'm going to the library and I'll be getting a book issued and I'll be keeping it with me for the rest of the week and reading it. Holding a book in your hand gives you a different kind of pleasure altogether, which is missing these days. But again, reading is important. As you said, it builds a character, it builds the personality, it makes you a thinker. And you think deep, you think seriously about things. There is no shallow thinking anymore, because reading definitely, I would say it gives you a completely new viewpoint to look at the things. Now, Dr. Harim, I want to ask you that reading is very important, but what is the scenario like in schools these days? How can we promote reading culture in schools when we have so many distractions? And of course, reading has become just another part, small part of the curriculum. You have to be skillful, you have to be athletic, you have to be in sports, you have to be in other extracurricular activities. How can we promote this habit then, Dr. Harim?
Yeah, reading, we can't say that reading is just limited to the academic achievement, because it opens a vast gateway of knowledge and emotional development. And also, if we nurture love for reading among students and we create an enjoyable environment for them for reading, so it would help create a lifelong learner. Also, different the books on different backgrounds and different cultures gives different perspectives to the students, and it develops a global perspective among students. So now the question is, how could we promote this in the schools? How could we develop the reading culture in schools? So for developing the reading culture, to read we need books, right? So for the very first thing is like to create a stock of books. By that I mean that creating a library. So like we have some big schools, small schools. So in those, like where there is a possibility of creating libraries, we could create the libraries, or we could create the reading spaces, right? Comfortable reading spaces or display of books that appeals to the student to enhance their reading habit. What a teacher could do, like the content to choose from what content students should read. So a teacher could select some books on the thematic basis and create those book lists and place it on the classroom walls, and by reading the names of those books, it could create a curiosity among students to read the content of the books. The other thing the teacher could do is a regular visit to the library, or if a space doesn't allow the library, so we could have the teacher could create a classroom reading space, a reading corner in the classroom. Like if the student is want to read and the library, he couldn't go to the library, or he want a particular space for reading, so these reading corners in the classroom could help them to develop the reading culture, the reading habit. And also the teacher could create a reading circle. Reading circle, by reading circle, what I mean is like each student is given to read a different book, and then they have to share their stories in the circle. So likewise it creates a communication skill, right?
Right.
So it will be developing a communication skill, storytelling skill. So by reading, we can, like by side, we could create different skills along with the reading of books, right?
That's right.
And then buddy reading session, like each student could be given a same book, and they could discuss what they like about the book and what they don't like about the book. And also there could be a peer reading session where there are suppose there are two students who is one of them is good at reading and the other one is not that good or poor in reading. So the one who is good at reading could help the other child to be a good reader.
Yes.
So in this way, in this way, in the schools, we could create a reading environment, like creating a reading club, celebrating the literacy day, or creating a reading day. And also, like if we want to promote reading among students, we can have a competitive environment for reading, like whoever reads more number of books in a month, so we could felicitate those students. So likewise, this could be the ways to promote reading among students in the schools.
That is right. And of course, we have World Reading Day, National Reading Day. It highlights the importance of reading. And of course, in India, we celebrate it on Dr. Kalam's birthday. And you know, the next question that I want to ask you about mental health. Before that, I want to share a very small story with you. I read this chapter in one of my English books when I was a student myself, that there was this person who went to a party and they were discussing what is bad, capital punishment or solitary confinement. So somebody said that it is you know, good to live somehow than not to live at all. Then that person was given the option that if we keep you in a solitary confinement for 10 years, you know, you will be begging for the capital punishment because it is so hard. So that person was given a chance and he was only allowed to enter the solitary confinement with some books and no communication from the outside world. For 10 years he read and of course before the contract or agreement it was also promised to give him a huge sum of money if he completes the tenure of solitary confinement. Now when he stepped out of that confinement, because he read so many books and he was a totally changed person, he completely rejected the amount that he won as reward, because he said that what I got after reading so many books during this phase of my life, it has made me a completely different person and I have acquired the wealth which is far more superior in terms of the money that I am being offered. Now, this is such a beautiful thing that even his mental health was, you know, not at harm when he was into solitary confinement. That means that reading, you know, encourages us and it also helps us to regain our mental sanity and of course to maintain our mental health. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, like also we could say that how it promotes our mental health. We have two types of food, you know, like food for thought and food for body. So every day we need a food for our body to keep ourselves healthy. But what about the food for our thought, for our mind? So that comes from the book, right? So like a body needs nutrition, our mind also needs nutrition, and that nutrition comes from reading. Another thing, that if we want to be successful, so we need confidence, and confidence comes from knowledge.
Yes.
And knowledge comes through reading. So these things, to be successful in life, you have to be a good reader, and there should be a good content that you read.
Yeah.
Also, like when the world is overwhelmed with demands and pressures, you need a refuge from this world.
Yes.
So the books give you a refuge. It takes you to a serene place, and it gives you a calm mind. So when you of books, every page you turn, it gives a powerful. When a student turns the pages of the novel, so it takes them to the world of imagination.
Yes.
So we can think how reading could improve their imagination power, right? And also their concentration, because while we read the book, we we keep ourselves resistant to what is happening around us,
Yes, yes.
and we stick to the content, right? So what we are reading, and to complete the book, it needs patience. So it is another quality that develops due to the books. And
Absolutely.
also the graphical, if we want to start with the kids, the graphical representation of story, while in our childhood we used to read the comic books, if we recall like that, then the
Yeah.
graphic representation of books can also enhance our level of imagination. And to start with, that could be a good start for the students.
Yes.
And it also, like, when we read different books, so it gives you different perspectives on emotions, right? Different types of characters, different types of roles, and
Right.
they have different types of emotions, right?
True, true.
So through
So
those
reading,
books,
yeah, reading is very important. You're right. I still remember myself reading those comics and those
right,
stories,
right,
Malgudi days. Ma'am, now we do not have
right,
enough time left with us. Otherwise, we can go
yeah,
on and on this topic,
right,
because
right,
I myself have read a lot during my childhood days, and this has helped me a lot when it comes to my spoken language, be it any language, English, Hindi, Punjabi, whatever language you want to learn through reading. So reading is indeed fun.
right,
It gives you an opportunity basically to know the world, and you read anything that you feel like. You don't have to get into serious content. Just read comics, books, fairy tales. It is all about inculcating the habit of reading, and then you can move on to other subjects, serious subjects or serious content that will attract you. Now, I have to wrap up this discussion over here, and I'm extremely thankful to both my panelists, Dr. Harim, Dr. Debabrata. Thank you so much, both of you, for your contribution to the session. It was a wonderful topic, and I think we can have another part of the same topic, because it is so unique in itself. Thank you so much once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
And that was our topic for Sahyog today, where we talked about developing reading habits among secondary students, or students from all walks of life. And with this, I'm wrapping up the session over here. But before I leave, here is an important announcement. It's regarding the upcoming competition. Yes, the last date has been extended. This is the All India Children's Educational E-Content Competition, and 31st of January 2025. 31st Jan 2025 is the last date for sending in your entries. You can log on to our website www.ciet.ncert.gov.in, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. We wish you all the very best for the competition. And now let's take a quick look at the schedule. Well, it's about the programs that you'll be watching tomorrow. Yes, so we will start the day with Yog Shakti, and then we have a program Ullas at 11 a.m. We will bring you a session on teaching learning interventions with the subject Hindi at 12 p.m. 2 p.m. is the time for the session in English titled Flying Together. Then in Hindi, we will bring you a session. This will be at 2:30. 3 p.m. is the time for session of Urdu, and of course from 3:30 to 4 you can watch a session on social sciences. 4 to 5 p.m. is the time for our online training program, and from 5 to 5:30 we will bring you the session Sahyog. With this, it's a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you. Namaskar.